exes walk into a room, it could be a little petty. It could be a little awkward. Especially right after a divorce.
Right now?
Well, no. And cue Kody. No, just kidding. No, just kidding.
Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Okay, I was going to make this video first, but then the court made a decision about Justin Baldoni's case, not Blake Lively's case. She didn't win, but she thinks she did anyway. Last night on Sister Wives, Kody Brown became the main topic, and something really interesting happened. Miss Janelle Brown, who used to be married to Kody, explained to Suki what love bombing means. She actually explained the pattern that happens with mean people who think they're better than everyone else, and she called Kody one of those people. Now, she said she couldn't officially say Kody has this problem because she's not a doctor. She said she watches popular TV shows and reads popular magazines, and Kody acts just like those mean people. Listen, I don't know if she's ever watched my videos. I don't know if she needed to watch me, but lots of us have been saying that Kody is a mean, selfish person for a long time. I was doing it hoping that someday one of the women would wake up and see this, and also to teach others about what happens with these mean, selfish people. Now, Kody's lies in this last part of the tell-all show, part 3, were really, really bad. I'm going to split this video up into different videos this week, but I want to talk about this specific part because Janelle calling him a mean, selfish person came from talks about Coyote Pass land and how Kody has used the women's fears against them. He used the things that mattered most to them to hurt them. This is how Janelle was able to understand why Kody would say she was in charge of the money when that wasn't true at all. What's also interesting is that a couple years ago, I told you that Janelle had seen the money records and noticed that Kody and Robyn were basically taking all the family money. Christine said this was kind of true too. She said Janelle told her that Kody and Robyn were taking way more from the family money than anyone else. And there were talks about how anytime people would ask Kody and Robyn about money, they would get really mad. So let's look at some of these video clips. I think he really is just naturally selfish, like we didn't know what the other wives were getting money-wise. We just knew what we had. But Janelle saw it all, and Janelle doesn't say much. She keeps things to herself. She's like, there were definitely... I saw where all the money was going and how much money Kody took and how much money Robyn took was a lot more than you were taking, and it was more than anybody else was taking. I'm like, why is that fair? And then Kody would just decide to buy tons of stuff that he would call good investments, and he would just go spend family money on that. So I totally believe this is true because it matches what I was told, and this was one of the reasons why everything in the family fell apart. They didn't trust each other. Robyn and Kody believed that all the money belonged to them. The wives weren't getting what they needed, and Kody and Robyn were living off their money while everyone else was trying to figure out what they were going to do. Kody and Robyn were just keeping all the money for themselves, which you can see by looking at all their stuff and dolls. Christine doesn't think that Kody and Robyn will be fair. We know at this point the Coyote Pass situation has been figured out, but Coyote Pass is just one part of all the money they shared together. None of this is going to change the fact that these women had so much money stolen from them. It shows the difference between a woman who has a legal marriage versus a woman who doesn't have a legal marriage. Suki made it clear that none of these women who left Kody had any legal way to get their money back because they couldn't get money after divorce or split up property because nothing was considered shared property. So what you're watching here should prove that these types of partnerships and relationships that aren't agreed to or legal should not exist. The first company paycheck. Robyn never got any of the money when we bought our houses. Robyn's money back from the house went to other family members. Now that the older children are done with school and we all work together to buy their cars, to help them, to pay them and stuff like that, now we're all separate and nobody's helping with the younger children. I found that specific part of Kody's behavior last night one of the worst things he's ever said because he didn't answer questions about taking money that wasn't his. Instead, he did what mean, selfish people do. He changed the subject and blamed others, and he told a straight-up lie about Robyn not getting money from the first paycheck. By the way, one paycheck? Okay, The first paycheck. Come on, Kody. She brought in like $40,000 worth of debt into your family. His reason here is not to actually answer questions about him being unfair. Instead, he's trying to change the subject to make it look like Robyn was so nice with her money. But you can't. A smart person would not look at the way that they live versus everyone else and see the things that they have versus everyone else and think, yes, Kody and Robyn are living completely fairly compared to everyone else and don't have more than anyone else. And the last part of it is really what made me so upset, because he had the nerve to say, well, now that the older kids are gone, none of them want to help with Robyn's kids. I'm sorry, what? What do Robyn's younger children have to do with Christine, Janelle, and Meri? Why is it their job to take care of those kids when throughout the entire show they all said that they took care of their own children? It's also very ridiculous for him to say this because they have no legal responsibility to take care of kids that are not their blood. He's actually the one that at this time wasn't paying child support for any of his children, wasn't paying child support for Truly, but he wants Meri, Janelle, and Christine to give money to Kody to take care of his own children. Why would Kody need money from other women to provide for the children he has with Robyn? What does that even say about him? I have given a lot to the family, and it's not recognized, and it wasn't until I sat there and had a talk with Kody and Robyn and my accountant showing them this is how I've helped, because this was years ago. And after that, he was like, oh, okay, because I think that he thought that I was keeping money from the family. This part of the episode actually made my stomach feel sick, because that sounds like human trafficking to me. Meri didn't have any family with her. She wasn't living in a house with any of these people. Her oldest child, she paid for on her own. They didn't get help from anyone else to pay for anything related to Leon's school. Meri paid for her own house payment. She paid for her own rent. She paid for her own everything. And then on top of what she was doing with LuLaRoe and all of these selling companies, she was giving part of her money to Kody and Robyn, which they felt they deserved simply because they're Kody and Robyn. Why would Meri's money that is only for her and separate from anyone else be needed for anyone in this family? Kody's job is to take care of his own kids, but to me it sounds like Kody and Robyn couldn't live within their own budget, so they had to basically force the other women to pay them. So really, Meri's working for free if she's giving her money to them, and she has to sit down with them, with her accountant, to prove that she didn't hide money from them. In what world does an unmarried woman need to prove to anyone what she does with her money? If she's making money through LuLaRoe or any of these selling companies she has, that's her money and her money alone. Kody and Robyn are sick, and the fact that they still believe that they deserve money is disgusting. It's probably why it took them so long to finally sign off on Coyote Pass. And for Robyn to act like, oh, it's just recent bias. Robyn, this proves to me the only reason they wanted Meri to stay was for money, and that's the only reason why they would continue anything with any of these women, for money. Because Janelle didn't handle the debts. No, because she had a different view before her, and I broke up about how things should be. She had too much control over our money, and in the end, we're just getting it straightened out at the end. I think that there's, like I said, recent bias, and there's rewriting of history a lot. And I feel like now it's all about getting even with each other, and I feel like it's all about trashing each other. Kody and Robyn's response to basically everything is either blaming someone else or just pretending like people are just yelling at them for no reason. So Kody then blamed Janelle for leaving him and Robyn with debt and a lot of mess to pick up and clean up, as though somehow she controlled the money, which everyone knows is not true. And so it wasn't until recently that Kody was able to get through all of these things to figure everything out, because she didn't care about the money the way that they did, even though they're the ones that were spending all the money. And for Robyn, her response is basically to just say that everyone is just pointing fingers and showing recent bias and making accusations, but she doesn't answer the questions literally ever. Why doesn't Suki ask Kody, why is it their responsibility to take care of the kids, Kody? Why is it Janelle, Christine, and Meri's responsibility to take care of the kids that you and your wife have? Since when was that their responsibility? They left you. And also, Kody and Robyn, why can't you take care of your own kids? And then this is
You
where
mean to
Janelle
tell me
this
this
whole
whole
time they were all paying for your kids and you were taking from
For
theirs?
a
mean, selfish person,
That's
there's
right.
a pattern where
That's
you
what
love
I
bomb.
thought.
And then you sort
Okay,
of,
thanks for confirming.
there sort of is a lessening. And then you almost kind of like destroy or hurt them. And then to fix it, you come back in and you love bomb. And so there was kind of this pattern. You use the word mean, selfish person. Are you saying Kody's a mean, selfish person? No, because I am not. I am not qualified to say that for sure. I guess everybody will have to decide. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I read popular culture. I have no idea, but it does seem like there's quite a lot of similarities. So after all that time of Suki trying to make sense of what Kody and Robyn were doing, Janelle tried to explain to her that what we're seeing here is a mean, selfish person making up excuses, lying, creating chaos, changing the subject. In the case of Janelle, he's saying Janelle is not smart enough to manage the money because that is something that is important to her. Her smartness, her ability to manage money books. She has a bachelor's degree in, I think, finance. She has worked her whole career up until the show in the world of finance or in accounting. And because of her background, she's proud of being good with money, and Kody likes to use that against her. So she was trying to explain that this is what mean, selfish people do. They create a mess, and then once they create a mess, they come back to you and they love bomb you, and then they make you feel worthless and throw you away, and then they have to hoover to clean it all up again. It's a pattern with them, so you'll never be able to make sense of the garbage that they say because none of what they say is logical. It's all just a way for them to get out of responsibility, to not take responsibility. He will never take responsibility for taking money. That wasn't his. He will never take responsibility for taking advantage of the women. He will never take responsibility for the mean comments that he says. How he certainly was able to feel okay to sit Meri down and demand that she prove that she wasn't hiding money from him, right? Or that he'll never feel bad that he wasn't attracted to Christine and stayed in a marriage with her for all of those years. He'll never feel bad that he wrote in a book that her eating nachos was like the most disgusting thing he had ever seen. He'll never feel bad that he called her chubby. He'll never feel bad for calling Meri mean or rude or scary. Whatever he can do to try to make them feel worthless and hurt them where it hurts the most to keep them weak and dependent. The better, because if he can hurt their self-confidence, they're not going to feel good enough about themselves to leave him, right? Suki had a lot of chances to ask follow-up questions, and I don't know if she did or if this is the editing, but they left a lot of these talks open-ended. There were a lot of things that Kody said that the other women were not asked about, or if they were, it wasn't put together to include, like Kody saying, Janelle left me without money, or they're not paying for our kids. Or there was one comment about how Robyn and Kody got kicked out of the family for showing PDA, which is ridiculous, and we'll talk about that later. But in this case, when it comes to money, there was no accountability. It seems like Suki has a really hard time separating Kody and Robyn from the fake personality that they show to her because she has 3 women that are sitting there in front of her telling her that they have been abused, used, tricked, and harmed. And she's still showing some level of care for Kody and encouraging getting back together with this family. If you had a friend like Suki that was pushing women that were abused to get back together with their abuser, that's a terrible friend. Let's just say it out loud, that's a terrible friend. And I know she's just doing a job and she's being paid by TLC to do this, but there's been such a disservice here to skip over such serious topics of, wait a minute, they made you sit down and prove that you weren't stealing money. There's no opposite point like, wait a minute, this isn't normal, this is weird, why would you do this? This is illegal. There's no experts to come in and explain like these women have been used and trafficked and embarrassed and destroyed and controlled. And now you're giving the victims a voice, but then they also have the abuser getting part of the platform, and that's just the part of it that makes me so sad for them. Because even today, Kody and Robyn still feel okay about stealing the money. They still feel like these women owe them money. They believe that Meri, Janelle, and Christine should be taking care of their kids. I have a son. I can't imagine expecting anyone but me and my husband to take care of him. What kind of entitlement do you have that you believe that you have? The right to expect other women to take care of the children that came out of your body or your man parts creating that seed. He's been living in a land of make-believe, and this show is just, it's gross. But here's the thing that really gets me. This whole situation shows us something so much bigger than just one family's drama. We're watching what happens when people with power use that power to hurt others. Kody had all the control in this family setup, and he used it to take advantage of these women for years and years. And the scariest part? He still doesn't think he did anything wrong. Even now, after all these women have left him and told everyone what really happened, he's still making excuses and blaming everyone else. Think about it. Meri had to sit down with her own accountant to prove she wasn't stealing money. Can you imagine? Your own money that you worked for, and you have to prove to someone else that you didn't steal it from them? That's not normal. That's not how healthy relationships work. That's control and manipulation at its worst. And Robyn just sits there acting like everyone is being mean to them for no reason. She keeps saying it's recent bias, like these women are just making stuff up because they're upset. But 3 different women are all saying the same thing. When 3 people who don't even talk to each other anymore are all telling the same story about how you treated them, maybe the problem isn't them. Maybe the problem is you. What makes me even more sad is thinking about all the years these women wasted trying to make this work. Christine stayed in a marriage where her husband wrote in a book that watching her eat was disgusting. Meri kept giving her hard-earned money to people who didn't appreciate her and made her feel like she was worthless. Janelle used her skills and education to help manage money that was being taken from her and her kids. These are smart, capable women who could have had so much better lives if they hadn't been stuck in this mess. And the kids, oh my gosh, the kids in all of this. Kody is literally saying that his older kids should help pay for his younger kids. What kind of father puts that responsibility on his children? Your kids aren't supposed to take care of your other kids financially. That's your job as the parent. But he's so used to other people paying his way that he can't even see how wrong that is. The worst part is that this kind of thing happens to people every day. Maybe not exactly like this, but people get trapped in relationships where someone else controls all the money, makes all the decisions, and makes them feel like they're crazy for questioning it. And then when they try to leave or speak up, they get told they're being dramatic or lying or just trying to cause trouble. That's why I'm so glad Janelle finally said what we've all been thinking, that Kody acts like those mean, selfish people who think they're better than everyone else. She might not be a doctor who can officially diagnose him, but she lived with him for years. She knows what she experienced, and now she's helping other people understand what those warning signs look like. So what are your thoughts about this? Were you shocked to hear these admissions by Kody? Were you shocked to hear these denials by Robyn? Were you shocked to hear the confessions by Meri? And what did you think about hearing Janelle actually say that Kody is a mean, selfish person? And were you also surprised that there was no follow-up on this to expand with any of the other women? Tell me in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.